I still want to take a look at how we can use adjustment layers to create color effects. And in this case, what I'd like to do is create a more high contrast, muted type of an effect. I'm working with a document called healy.psd, which is available in your resources folder. This is a simple technique. All we want to do right now is add an adjustment layer, and we want to add a hue saturation adjustment layer at that. So in the adjustments panel, come over and click the hue saturation button to add that layer. Once you add the layer, what we want to do for the adjustment is drag the saturation slider all the way to the left, totally desaturating the image. Now, to create that high contrast effect, what we're going to do is simply change the blending mode. So inside the layers panel, you can go ahead and select soft light. When you select soft light, you'll notice we have a much higher contrast image now. If you turn off the visibility of the adjustment layer, you can see the original image and now the image with our adjustment. If you wanted an even more extreme example of this, instead of choosing soft light, you can choose overlay. You'll notice it gets even more contrast in the photograph. Again, we can turn off the adjustment to see the original and now the new image with our adjustment. Now, the only problem with this is we lose some detail, especially in these darker colors here. The car has a lot of black, and we're losing some of this detail. To bring some of this detail back, what you want to do is double-click the layer. You don't want to double-click the icon over here or here. You just want to kind of double-click the layer to open up the Layer Style dialog box. Once you do that, what you can do, if you take a look, there's a This Layer section. We have Blend If, Gray, which is what we want to deal with, and then there's a This Layer section. And if we drag this slider to the right, notice we're bringing back detail in these black areas. So go ahead and click and drag. If I drag it all the way over the right, you'll really start to see an extreme case of that. We certainly don't want to take it this far to the right, but you can at least see what's happening. We're getting more detail in our darker areas. But of course, one of the great things about the adjustment was we were trying to get these dark areas, but we wanted to bring back at least some of the detail. So go ahead and click and drag this over. One of the problems with this is a negative impact on your image is sometimes you get very jagged areas where the color is being toned down. A way to solve that is to hold down the Option key on the Mac, the Alt key on Windows, and you can kind of split this slider into two. And you can drag this over to the left. And what you're doing is you're kind of applying this transformation over a gradient almost. So it's more of an even application of this adjustment. So that's how you can get some of the detail back inside those really dark color values. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK to accept this. And again, it's just a simple technique using adjustment layers to create a more high contrast looking image without really having to do a lot of work. And again, you're not damaging the original artwork at all because all this information is stored on a separate adjustment layer. So you have the ability to remove it, to duplicate it, to do whatever you want to this particular layer. And again, if it's a little bit too extreme, you can always play with the opacity. If you drop the opacity down a little bit, you'll get some more detail back from the original photograph while maintaining that high contrast look. So here's the original, and this is after the adjustment. Again, this is all about experimentation. Depending upon what type of image you're working with, if you want to create more muted, high contrast images, this is a quick, easy solution to achieve that effect.